Hello, my loves. Welcome. Second episode of See Like Sheba. I'm pretty sure it's the second. Yeah, it's the second episode. How you guys been? I know it's been like a week or two, but I'm going at my own pace now, and I have so many like experiences and insights and things that come to me all the time. So I am like just trying hard not to like rush myself, you know? The world wants us to be in this constant season of like blooming and just like producing. And I'm like, don't tell me what to do. So yeah. How you been? Had a good couple weeks? I hope so. I what has been coming up for me recently, I'm like, let me like clue you guys in, I guess, in order to see like me. Like you're gonna have to get a little bit of backstory because like of like where I've been at and what's been going on. Cause it's been a lot, but I've just been like, I'm so good at like alchemizing difficult situations. Using challenges as like initiations, like tests that I've always been an excellent test taker. So, these have been no different. And so I'm just like really excited where I'm going. Oh, this has been like a really great year. I'm so excited. I feel like March is going to be a really good month for me. And so it is. Okay, so let me catch you up. Hey, my love. Hey, Billy. Love you so much. Okay, so yeah, like, all right, where I've been at for the past, let me take you back, I guess, to October 7th, 2023, when the Hamas Al-Aqsa flood operation, getting the Palestinians free, breaking out of a concentration camp that they have been trapped in by the Israelis with the assistance of the U.S. military and, other Western powers. Okay, so that happens, and I start being like, oh my God, does everyone know about what's been going on? Like, this is a horrific injustice, and I can't believe what I'm seeing right now. This is literally a Holocaust. Like, we have to do something. We've trained for this, we've watched all the Holocaust movies. We read Anne Frank's diary. Like, we know what to do. And it was like so horrifying to see like everyone just like, oh yeah, it sucks, but like literally no one was caring. And I was just like, what is happening? Why is everyone underreacting so much to like this like horrific thing we're seeing? Just like children being sniped in the head, and schools bombed, and like just crazy things I've never seen just like happening to like regular people. So crazy. I was just like horrified. And so I recognized I have the power of my voice, and that terrible things happen in silence. And I noticed the Zionists really did not want people speaking publicly about what they were doing. And so I was like, okay, well, I got to do the opposite of that then. Let me like speak. Let me get the story out. Let me write the history. Let me like be clear about what's going on, because I think these jerks are going to try to pretend like they didn't know what's going on. Couldn't do nothing. And like, that's just not going to work for me. It's crazy. So yeah, I was like telling everyone within my circle of, influence, do something. I used to be in this thing, Breadlums. Me and Billy were working on this artistic project, which, is so funny. Our friend Sakura made us realize that like actually we were being like taken advantage of in that. And, it was just, we learned our value through that experience. But anyway, two of the three other people who were working in that project with us were Jewish, and one of them, like their friend, was a white guy, but he went to their like summer camp. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with white people. They're just ridiculous. But he used to work at CNN, and he still like somehow is like involved in like the media and stuff. Anyway, I was like, okay, this guy knows about what's going on, like seeing what the media is doing and how they're running coverage for a genocide and, you know, facilitating this and lying. And this white man who used to work at CNN and knows what's up needs to say something. These Jewish people need to say something. Like, there's a genocide going on. Like, they're artists. Artists have to say something. There's just so many intersections where I was just like, what are we doing? How are we doing this? How are we doing this, you know, what was it going to be, a TV show or whatever about, you know, a family of billionaire Jewish bagels who are running this pedophile ring, and they like falsely accuse the Arab scientist who's like kind of the brains behind the operation. They like blackmail him, and it's just a whole crazy thing. I'm like, how can we have that storyline and like stay silent on this like horrific Holocaust that we're seeing? And so October 7th happened. My birthday was November 10th, a little over a month after. And so I used, you know, that time when people were like, what do you want for your birthday? Or wishing me a happy birthday. I would just be like, thank you. Post something about Palestine, you know, just like repost something from Doctors Without Borders or one of these Palestinian, you know, people on the ground or otherwise. Just repost it to your story. Counter this obvious propaganda campaign that the Israelis are trying to do. Yeah, that's all I want. That's all I want. Everyone to use the power of their voice in my honor to help. And so, yeah, like no one did that. The Breadlums people were like, not going to do that. And so I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to do any more labor on this then. That's crazy. Like, I'm not contributing my labor to people who are going to be silent on genocide. Gross. Ew. Like, that's not going to be my story. So that project ended because also, like, yo, they weren't even willing to, like, speak up for, you know, something that's obviously correct in exchange for, like, you know, their dream getting to come to life. They were like, no, not worth it. Their dream is not worth it. Oof. I feel so bad. Israel and the Zionists have just really ruined a lot of people and just given them this really limited imagination of what's possible. And it's so sad. Okay, so that happened. Then, like, you know, my family, they had asked the same thing. You know, what do you want for your birthday? And I was like, can everyone just post a story about Palestine? Like, repost it. I don't want, you know, I don't want to get food. I don't want any material things. Just do this one thing. You know, most people just like ignored it. They didn't even bother to say they wouldn't. And I was just like, what is happening? I just feel like it's crazy. So at that time, you know, me and Billy used to babysit our two nieces every Wednesday. And so like in early December, a month after my birthday, when I was good and fed up with everyone, like no one had, you know, posted about it. And I was just like, what am I seeing right now? This is so disgusting. I was just really, I think they call it a dark night of the soul. I'll have to look more into it, but it did feel very much like, what is happening? I just cannot. And like, I was showing my brother, I was like sending him these like horrific things of these Israelis, just like killing children for fun before October 7th, and then like stealing people's homes, just shooting people in the street. And I was sending it to my brother who works in the military, and I was like, I was thinking of my brother as this like kind of heroic guy who like, stands up for the little guy and like is always trying to be helpful and stuff. And I sent him this stuff, and he didn't like reply to any of it until eventually he was like, what do you want me to do? And I was like, well, like, can you engage with my stuff at least, learn about this. I didn't need anyone to tell me what to do. I just like saw what was going on, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, let me just speak. I don't know, share my perspective. That's what I wanted. And, yeah, he just ignored me. And I saw him like a week later at a thing, and he went to hug me, and I was like, no. Have you posted something about Palestine? And he was like, seriously? I was like, yeah, don't touch me. Like, what's going on? I was just so like appalled by everything I was seeing, and just the cavalierness with which everyone was just like, nothing you can do, so let's just keep going on as normal. What? And like, when Sheba, who I ask very little, I actually, I'm healing my, what is it, my divine feminine wound or whatever, like, working on my ability to receive, because like I've definitely learned that when I ask for something, like if it's not already something that someone was going to do, they're not going to do it. And that's fine. That's like, boundaries. People don't have to do everything I want to do, but like, I don't ask for anything because I'm afraid that they're not going to do it. And then when I finally do kind of like cash in, I'm like, I'm not someone who's always asking for favors and things. So like when I finally do, it was just really hurtful to see like people just like, nah. And like annoyed that I would ask, and like, what? And like annoyed that I would be like, okay, well, I don't want to talk to you then. I certainly don't want to like hug, like, no thanks. Okay, so then a month later in December, I, had probably gotten into some things with people, with Zionists on Facebook and things. They were still trying to, silence me at that point, but now they know it's futile, so they leave me alone. But my brother-in-law comes home one day. We were babysitting, and I was like really sad. I was struggling to like go about as normal, just like, my usual cheerful self, because I was just like, how can we all just be like doing nothing like this? And so I was like looking really sad when he came home, and he like asked me, what's up or something. And I was just like, you need to like post something. And he was like, I don't know anything about it. And I was like, well, me and Billy post about it all the time, so just repost something of ours. And he was like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. And I was just like, I was like, wow, he's just like the Breadlums people. He's just like all these other people who are just don't care. It's so crazy to me. That's so crazy to me, to not care about other people's children, other people who are going through this horrific thing, who are just the same as you. Oh, it's so disgusting to me. And I was like, we were trying to get them on our short-lived, it's been on hiatus for a little bit after only a couple of episodes, Couples Goals. We were trying to get my sister and brother-in-law on Couples Goals, but honestly, they were like not like they were like, nah, they just like weren't setting a date. They weren't like that interested in it. They've got their thing going on, so they just like weren't making it a priority. And I was just like, okay, well, you guys can't be on our shows until like you both post about it. And he's like, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I was like, ugh, that's so gross. And I was like, that's so terrible. Like, men not caring about other people's children is why we're in this situation where there's fascism and, a militarized police state and, multiple genocides, and like no one can do anything because like men are just told like they only have to care about themselves, maybe their children, but like we even let that slide. And so like, I was just like, like it's really shitty that you don't care about other people's children. And like when this comes over here, when this genocide, all of this oppression comes over here and they come after your children, it's going to be your fault. And I was like, ugh, I think I called him trash. And I left. Me and Billy left. Okay. We get in the car and Lloyd messages Billy. That's my brother-in-law. My brother-in-law messages Billy, texts him. And so this is the first time, this week is the first time I'm reading this because he texted it to Billy in order to have Billy pass along the message to me. What a bitch. What a little bitch. Ugh. But actually, after I read this, I'm like, oh, I see why he didn't have the balls to send this to me directly. Because he knows I would have roasted him. I would have been really, really angry. And I would have definitely hurt his feelings in a way that he's not ready to take. But let me read you this because like, it's hard to read. Oh my gosh. Okay, so my brother-in-law sends this to Billy. Yo, after thinking about what Sheba just said to me, I don't want y'all around my kids. If my choice of not posting about blah blah means my life, children's life in danger or whatever she said, then so be it. I'll take my chances without y'all in my kids' life. They are 100% my priority. She made this happen. I don't need that in my life. I have enough going on. Good luck, bruh. Now, first of all, if my choice of not posting about blah blah means my children's life is in danger or whatever, blah blah is a genocide, a Holocaust, a horrific Holocaust that's happening by your leaders and with your money. That's the blah blah. That he's just like, if blah blah means my children's lives are in danger or whatever, so be it. What? No wonder children have such a terrible time in this life, in this country specifically. Look at what their fathers think of them. Literally, a lawyer is like, you need to do this thing in order to protect your children's lives. And they're like, oh, blah, 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 whatever. What a loser. Oh my fucking God. Also, yeah, anyway, I feel so bad for Billy too. He's like, damn, bro, that's the last thing I want to read. Because he's got a weird relationship with his brothers, blah, blah, blah. I don't want to deal with this. Anyway, my brother-in-law continues, yo, to wish ill or death on my kids is crazy. Fuck her and the grenade she's diving on. I'm done. She made this a family issue. I'm not going to be threatened because I'm not backing such and such cause. Leave me and mine out of it. I'm done talking about it. It's gone too far. So such and such cause, again, it's genocide and a Holocaust in which children, 5-year-olds, are being sniped in the head routinely by a horrific racist terrorist army who is completely funded by me, our tax dollars. Such and such, blah, blah. Oh my God. This is someone who's in charge of a family. Oh, that's so sad. Also, to wish ill or death on my kids is crazy. Like, didn't do that. But he knows that. And Billy says that, like, she doesn't wish ill on her kids. ill on your kids. That's not what she was saying. Then he clarifies, Billy says she's saying the world politics has monsters like Israel and their lack of being held accountable is dangerous. That's what she was pointing to, bro. Yeah, but, hold on. Okay, so he continued, it's on me if what she's saying comes true. Also, this man only has, barely a high school education. So the text is also hard to read because it's like grammatically kind of not good. And he was, having an emotional, hysterical reaction. So it's like, hard to read. It's my on me if what's she is saying comes true isn't wishing ill or death on my kids. If it's on me, then so be it. Better time than her. Then he corrects. Better me than her. Maybe I'm misquoting. Whatever. I took it as a threat. I don't like it. So I'm standing by my decision. I don't need that in my life. And Billy's like, yeah, that's a misquote. Definitely not a threat. Anyway, would it be okay if I falsely accused him of hurting children? And if I made that false accusation to my sister, not even to the person who I was accusing? Would it be okay if Freddie falsely accused Billy of hurting children because she was hurt about something he did? Would it be okay of her to like falsely accuse him of hurting her children and not letting Billy and I be around her children because of that? Would that be okay? I think it would be really shitty. I think it would be like everyone would not be like, oh yeah, you just gotta get over it. Anyway, so Billy passes along the message because I hadn't seen that. Like, oof, that's tough to read and makes me even madder. But on the other hand, it's kind of helpful. I did need my energy and my time back. And so I haven't gone over there since then. And I haven't, of course, spoken to my brother-in-law. And, my sister, though, and my mom have been like, why can't you, why are you being so weird? Why don't you want to be around? And I'm like, I felt like gaslit. I was like, what is going on? Like, this person sent this crazy text to my spouse, disinviting me from being around, like, their children. And I'm supposed to just, like, get over it? Anyway, recently, maybe last week, Billy and my brother-in-law were talking. And months ago, I was like, Lloyd has to apologize my brother-in-law has to apologize to me, or I'm not, going over there again. I'm not going to be around someone who's treated me like that. And, my sister knows of that. And, my brother-in-law knows of that. And but like last week, he was like, he's not going to apologize. He's ready to move forward, but he's like not going to apologize. What? Men are so crazy, so emotionally unintelligent. It's terrifying, honestly. I feel really bad for their spouses and for their children. Because like, why on earth would I want to move forward with someone who is going to use their children to hurt me? Why would I want to move forward with someone who doesn't, care about a Holocaust or a genocide, who refers to it as like blah, blah, whatever, and such a cause? Like, why would I want to be friends with someone like that? Why would I want to be around them? And like, I realize like maybe my family hasn't like read the messages that he sent Billy, because I hadn't even read it until the other day. But like, no, he kind of said it like, he's standing by his decision. He took it as a threat. He's misquoting, but he's still taking it as a threat. I'm like, wow, I have to remember that, like, this is a guy with a, you know, high school education. So, like, he's not that smart. Like, that's what happened. Like, he was bested. I made an accurate point, a truthful assessment, and he hates that he wasn't mentally quick enough to be able to have a comeback in person. And so he had to, like, think about it, write it down, text it to someone else, and unfortunately is existing on a timeline in which he thinks he's going to be able to just say that, misquote me, falsely accuse me of harming a child, and that I'm going to, like, go and, like, hang out. I'm going to, like, oh, that's cool. Like, no, not, like, crazy. I'm sad that, like, previous versions of myself would accept that kind of treatment, would just be like, oh, it's okay. Guys say insane things like that, so who cares? Like, ugh, no, babe. You know, it's tough. Like, we really have to be better about, like the reason he thinks that's okay, that I would, like, get over it, is because he must say stuff like that when he's having an emotional, hysterical reaction. He maybe says, you know, makes false accusations, says horrific things, and people just, like, let it go. And so he doesn't learn that that's unacceptable. So he, like, learns that, like, unacceptable behavior is actually acceptable. And I was like, oh, babe, no, I'm, like, not doing that. Yeah. And so, like, yeah, for, like, the past year and a half, I've been, like, kind of, like, sitting on that and just kind of being vague about, like, I'm just, like, not fucking with, you know, my brother-in-law and, like, my family. But, like, yeah, it's because of that, actually. Because he said, like, an insane thing to me and expects me to just, like, return to providing unpaid labor for him and, like, you know, going over, they love football. I just don't care about it. It's you know, I have, like, all of my reasons, but also, like, you know, he's big on, like, you know, it's not that serious, and, like, is always, like, kind of scoffing at what I say and just, like, doesn't take it seriously. Why would I go around someone like that? Why would I waste my valuable time around someone who thinks so little of me, who cares so little about me and my comfort, who, when I'm like, yeah, you need to apologize, it's just like, no, he just, like, doesn't want to, like, and won't. Okay. Like, the universe is giving me a challenge, you know, it's an initiation. It's saying, like, okay, is this acceptable treatment? Is having access to this old family system worth the, what do you call that? The, like, disgrace, the, like, shame of, like, accepting a man, like, speaking about you like that, putting a false accusation like that in writing to someone else? Is that okay? And, like, yeah, for me, definitely not. That's expired timeline behavior. And yeah, like, now on, like, my timeline, like, only love works here. Oh man, I gotta, maybe Billy will bring it in if he hears this, but, like, my friend, the Reverend Dr. Carmen A. Player, made me it's a jean jacket that they hand sewed these, like, beautiful, like, patches and panels onto. They, on the inside of it, they, like, hand wrote this, like, beautiful message, you know, just, like, inspiration and protection. So beautiful. And I'm like, that's the kind of treatment I expect from people in my life. I expect them to, like, see me, to take my words seriously, to understand how important I am, how valuable I am, and how you treat someone who is important and valuable. And trust me, baby, it's not extracting unpaid labor from them and then like kind of treating them like an afterthought who's like annoying and who's just like, ugh, gosh. No. Come on. And so yeah, like that's been something that's been kind of difficult for me is like, you know, of course the Matrix common, you know, knowledge or whatever, like what most people would do is you're just supposed to take it on the chin. You're just supposed to, you don't have to like, you know, this person, but you got to put aside your differences and like come together. Why would I do that? Why wouldn't I stay in my beautiful house where like the people in it believe in me and like love me and are like so excited and attuned to my needs and are like excited to please me and make me comfortable and
Speaker, the President of the United States.
I don't know what's happening. What's happening? Is that long applause for me? That's the only thing that makes sense. Oh my God. Did you guys hear that? It'd be funny if you didn't and you just saw me like reacting like that. Oh my God. Anyway, yeah, I just had to like get that story out. I'm probably gonna like tell it again in maybe a more concise way. That was probably concise. That probably made a lot of sense. But yeah, anyway, okay, yeah, I that's crazy. That's so funny that we're still doing this performance of democracy. So dumb. This expired timeline. My brother-in-law belongs on this expired timeline with Trump, Elon, all these people trying to, you know, oh, I don't know. I might. It should be maybe on the couch, the brown couch, around there, maybe. But if you can't find it, don't worry about it. No stress, no stress. But yeah. Anyway, like, I need love. Like, only love can reach me. I like, you know, Carmen drove up from DC and dropped off these like hand stitched jackets for me and Billy. And like my brother-in-law can't even like give me an apology for falsely accusing me of harming his children. No thanks. Thanks, but no thanks. And yeah, so and it's crazy that like, you know, we were taught that that's just like acceptable behavior, that that's like the trade-off, like, oh, like a guy who is like I have to tolerate a guy who's like not as smart as me, not as interesting as me, not as like compassionate as me, like I have to like spend time with them. No. Yeah, I just don't want to. And like I only want like love, people who are like really excited about me. You know, like my friend like came multiple times by train to help create this beautiful nurturing space for me. And like, you know, my other friend gives me this amazing like jacket and just like I don't know. I feel sorry for the, you know, Sheba versions of Sheba that were on this expired timeline. And I'm sorry for like the people who are still on that. Like, ugh, what a limited life they live where, you know, genocides go on, fascism go on, their bosses, you know, treat them however, and they just, you know, they just take it. Day in and day out, they just grind and they gotta just do that over and over. Like, that sucks. Like, I would hate to be so powerless. I would hate to be so, like, you know. But yeah, like, I think and so also, like, you know, my brother, I was like, no, don't touch me if you can't say anything about Palestine. And after that, you know what he did? He met up with Billy to, like, talk to Billy about it. Like, I don't know what it is with these men on these expired timelines, like, thinking like, let me try to talk to Billy. Like, he'll be reasonable. Yo, I'm the lawyer of the family. I'm the most reasonable one. That's what they hate. Like, I'm the most reasonable one. And yeah, we just, like, the men in my family, I see, like, they're used to women just, like, kowtowing and accepting their, like, pretty bare minimum behavior. Like, that's not good enough for me. Like, I'm doing a lot of cool, interesting, powerful things. And, like, I can't tell myself and the universe, like, I deserve to be around people who don't think I'm amazing. That's not what I deserve, you know? And, like, I'm so glad every time I turn down an invitation to go and have dinner or spend time with them at their house, I feel so good that I, like, trust myself. Because I know if I were to go over there, I would be being fake. I would be pretending I wasn't really hurt by their apathy, that I wasn't really unimpressed by their, you know, poor use of their privilege. And, like, their lack of, you know, people who don't grow, people who aren't interested in, like, pushing outside of their comfort zone, or, I don't know, just doing differently than what society tells them to. It's just, like, I don't have time for it anymore. I don't have any energy. I've seen too many dead children. Just not. Why would I pretend? Why would I pretend? I just, like, don't understand why I would do that anymore. And so it's actually been really freeing to, like, you know, not accept invitations from people who are unkind to me, and to not proactively, like, go over there or you know, engage. And it's been great. The boys haven't even messaged. It's been really easy. And it's so funny to see, like, my mom and sister trying to, like, you know, convince me to, like, come and, you know, like, come back and, like, hang out with people. And, you know, and I'm just like, no. And they're like, you know, Lloyd's not going to change. You know, your brother's not going to change. Your brother-in-law is not going to change. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to change. Why does everyone think I'm going to change? It's so crazy to me. So yeah, anyway, I was thinking about how, like, you know, I was thinking about nominative determinism. And, you know, my brother-in-law's family, they're the Joneses. Very common last name. But I wonder, you know that saying, keeping up with the Joneses? I'm wondering if, like, subconsciously, like, people with the last name Jones kind of have this idea that people are keeping up with them, that they are the standard, that how they think to do things is the best way to do things. And they kind of, like, exist in life as, like, this is how I want to do it. And lots of people accommodate that. They keep up with them. They're like, okay, well, that's what they want to do, so we gotta just do that. And like, no, why would I do that? That's such a bad idea. Like, now that I, you know, see where they're at, like, keeping up with the Joneses means I have to keep myself small. You know, I'm bright, I'm big, I'm expansive. I'm always evolving and learning and, you know, improving. And that's not what the Joneses are about. The Joneses are comfortable with who they are, you know, in a certain way. And they are not interested in expanding or changing their view. And, I'm just like, it's interesting. I had to like realize when I was growing up, I kind of thought I'm the middle child of three. I always thought like my sister was the sporty one. I thought my brother was the smart one. And I thought I was like, I don't know, maybe the artsy one, maybe the girly one. I had a lot of shame about that. I was like, who am I? What am I? Anyway, I realized in this past week, like, my brother wasn't the smart one. I was the smart one. That's why I'm the lawyer. Duh. Like, my brother, I'm pretty sure he had to like repeat kindergarten like several times, and like my mother would like do his homework for him sometimes. Like, my brother's actually not smart. He just wears glasses, I realized. And I think I maybe projected my own smartness onto him. But like, actually, smart people don't just like do whatever their dad says, do whatever their dad did. My brother went to like the same college that my dad did and went into the same, into the army. And I'm sorry, like I realized like people who are in the army are not smart. They're just like obedient. And if anything, like they're like really not smart. Like they're just like, I will do whatever this person who's a higher rank tells me to. Like, doesn't matter if I know it to be wrong or I don't think it makes sense. Like, I'm just going to do it. That's stupid. That's something a stupid person does. But I feel like we also have this, like, we've inherited this kind of like patriarchal hierarchy in our families, in our society. So, of course, in our families. And so, yeah, we have it kind of the men, whatever the men want to do, we all kind of work around that. And we let the, we understand that the men aren't going to change. They're not going to be moved. And so we have to, lower our expectations and we have to be reasonable. No. What? I have to like submit my authority to, a guy with a high school education and, a good little soldier. Why would I do that? That doesn't make any sense. They're supposed to be following the smart one. And it's sad that when the smart one is like, hey, you guys need to be focusing on this. This is how you should be reacting. They're like, oh, blah, blah, blah. Now my children are threatened. Like, oh, God. These emotional boys. Really not leadership quality. It's tough. I feel sad and like annoyed at the women who are like letting these not smart men do whatever they want. Like, don't do that. Don't let these men set the standard, set the cap for what we're all supposed to be aiming for how we're supposed to be operating in this world. Like, because these men will just be like, yep, you just got to go to work and do that, and that's it. And anything else, you can't expect anyone to do anything else. Like, what? That's why our world looks the way it does. Like, y'all need to up your standards. It's just, like, not good enough. Don't be keeping up with the Joneses. They're not going where you're trying to go. You got to keep your own time. You got to keep your own pace. And yeah, honestly, I gotta be grateful for my idiot brother-in-law, because it actually, like, I at that point didn't have the like, I was too much of a people pleaser to be like, I want this time to myself to just like focus on myself. And so it was really nice that the universe like arranged for me to have this time where I could choose, like, do you want to go against what you feel is true and just keep being around people who just you are not clicking with? Or do you want to just like be by yourself at your house? And I was like, definitely be by myself at my house. And I've just been creating and discovering so many amazing things in that time, in this year and a half. And, see like Shiva, one of many beautiful, brilliant things that have come to me in this time of, solitude. And it's been really great. So, yeah, I kind of appreciate that he got so emotional and hysterical in this message, because it made it very easy to be like, do I want to accept this really unacceptable message in order to hang out with this guy that doesn't like me very much? Or do I want to treat myself with love? Do I want to choose myself? Yeah, so of course I'm going to choose myself. Maybe not, of course. I guess lots of us are taught to not do that. But like, no. Sorry. If a man doesn't keep on my lights, if we're not effing, you're going to have to be extra sweet to me. Like, I don't need you to just be like, not say things like that. I need you to be actively kind and interesting and funny. Otherwise, no, go away. We don't need men like that on this timeline. Ladies, it's not okay to co-sign, to apologize for, to minimize the actions of, to not hold accountable men who don't care about other people, people who are outside of his family, right? Like, Netanyahu cares about his children. Donald Trump cares about his children. Like, does that mean they're like good guys? No. And so we're going to have to consider whether or not the men in our lives who care about their children, is that enough? Like, I think we're going to need men to start caring about people other than their own children. And men who do not care about people other than their own children or their friends' children, people who, remind them of their children and themselves. Like, no, not good enough. Go watch the game. I'm like literally on another level, on another vibration. Like, the things I want to talk about literally make him malfunction. Like, ladies, we got to stop doing these, doing the men in our lives homework for them. They need to learn accountability. They need to learn to sit with their uncomfortable feelings and thoughts. They need to understand that, like, just whatever emotional expression they want is cool. They have to learn that is not okay, that there are consequences to their actions. And if we always just like, well, it's okay, it's fine, it's not fine. And they have to learn. You're doing their homework for them. They don't ever get to develop the emotional intelligence, the discomfort resilience. It's making them weak and easy to dominate and enslave and erode. So you got to leave them to their own devices. And that's what I've been doing. Let them, if they want to be in my life so bad, they're going to have to show it more. And no apology and no attempts to reach out are not going to cut it. But yeah, I actually like had a really interesting like emotional declutter today, energetic declutter, where I like deleted all of these conversations on WhatsApp that I am no longer like talking with the people in. I deleted all these contacts in my phone of people who I'm just like, I'm not taking into this timeline. So, even people, if I just like met you once or whatever, I was like, why do I have this in there? I don't need it. I'm like cluttered. I'm like accumulating all of these relationships that don't mean anything. let me clear those out, and make room for the people who are for me, who are coming into my life, who really do resonate with me. Last thing that made me think of, actually, I was also cleaning up my screenshots and stuff, just clearing all this space. And I saw back in like maybe November of 2018, I was just about to turn 31 when Billy first messaged me on Instagram, and I didn't message him back for like 6 months, but he kept like reaching out every couple of months. So sweet. So I saw that in November 2018. Then in February of 2019, my cousin was going to have this, she was planning a vow renewal thing in the Bahamas, and we were, getting rooms and stuff. And I was going to like share a room with my mom. So at that time I was, single. And she was like, you need a boo. And I was like, you know what? You're right. I'm going to get a double room and make room for a relationship by the time this, trip comes along in a couple of months. And yeah, that was in February 2019. And then in March of 2019, me and Billy finally connected and met in person. And the rest, as they say, is history. Beautiful, sweet history that is still ongoing. And I'm so excited to see it unfold. But yeah, why did I say that? I was saying that because, making space in your life, for what you want, like if you say you like want people who are going to recognize you, who are going to treat you well, who are going to make you feel loved and seen, you're going to have to let go of the people who don't make you feel loved or seen and who refuse to recognize you. Why would you hold on to them? They like literally are not on this frequency anymore. They're not going to get it. They're not going to feel it. So, yeah, that's all I want to say. So yeah, thanks. Bring your head on up to your screen. Put it against your forehead. Love you. This is all made up. Hope you enjoyed that story. Let me know. We'll keep talking about it, I'm sure. But yeah, I'm glad I shared that, because that's like a lot. That's like a bullshit message to have to like keep to myself. You should be ashamed of that. And yeah, now he's gotta face the consequences of not having this beautiful, powerful light in his life. Sucks for him. Sucks for his wife and his children. They don't get to have this amazing person in their life. But that's all the more incentive for them to, I don't know, talk some sense into this man. Or not. Because, yeah, like, oof, embarrassing. I don't think I'm gonna get over that. Is in writing too. I can see it. I can read it. I can come back to it. Yeah, that's unfortunate. For him. Anyway, love you guys. I'm gonna come up with a good sign off thing one day, but today is not the day. So until then, I love you. I'll see you next time. Something, see like Sheba.